Hi, fire signs. Okay, so fire signs, what are you manifesting, or what seeds of manifestation are you manifesting during the Lionsgate 88 portal? Right off the bat, we're getting solitude, and solitude is number 11, rest, ponder, quiet, sanctuary. Now, I wouldn't interpret this as you being silent and dormant and not getting anything done unless that's what you want to do and you need rest, because burnout is a very real thing. But if you're not feeling burnt out right now, what you're manifesting is privacy, self-imposed privacy. I feel like, and I hope this doesn't happen in a way where you have to learn this the hard way. Did that sound too harsh? I hope that didn't sound too harsh. But I hope you don't have to learn this the hard way, but during the in August, during the Lionsgate portal, you're going to, and notice how the girl in the solitude card, she has big hair. Actually, all the girls in this deck have big hair, but big hair is Leo, right? And Leo is the sign of royalty, celebrity, and what's that saying that royals? There's this rule that royals abide by, where they don't react when people talk about them. Let's say the media, the media writes something nasty about them. They don't react to it. Wait a minute, let me pause and search the saying. Okay, found it, so sorry about that. It's never complain, never explain. So it's giving the energy of you choosing your battles. I know you're a fire sign, and I don't want to stereotype fire signs as being kind of combative and aggressive. I don't think that's you, but people used to get a rise over you, right? People would try to provoke you. And I feel like between me posting this reading, or whenever, or whichever year, because this isn't just for this is semi-timeless in that this applies for Lionsgate for every year. Between now and the next Lionsgate, you're going to learn the value of not responding to people, not being reactive, and moving in silence, because evil eye is a very real thing, and maintaining your privacy it can be very beneficial for your abundance, for your manifestations. The solitude is also giving me kind of this sense of quieting the noise around you and listening to your inner wisdom. It's giving me the energy of the hermit. Because in the card here, we have a white owl, and owls are obviously a symbol of wisdom. So you're listening to yourself more than you're listening to others. I totally get this energy of keeping things to yourself, because we have the tower and we have the clouds, and then we have a man and a scythe. Now, normally I don't read the man in the Lenormand like this, but in this particular deck, this is the Dreaming Way Lenormand deck, the man's holding kind of a telescope. A telescope? I don't know what you would call that, but this man is holding a viewing device, kind of like a binocular, and he's looking into the tower. Now the clouds is a card of obscurity, of kind of obscuring people's views, of covering, of lack of clarity, of unclarity. And what it's giving is the cards are basically advising you to keep your business private. Don't talk about things until they're ripe. They're ripe. Don't talk about things until they're actually ready for people to consume, essentially. So basically, if let's say you run an Etsy shop, right? You run an Etsy shop and you're developing this product, and essentially don't tell people that you're developing the product. Put the product out there, and once it's actually up in the store, then you can talk about it on social media. And maybe you can do kind of videos on behind the scenes, the process on how you made this product, how you created it, the development, the thought that went behind it. But don't post that before it's actually up in the store. You know, post all of this after the fact is what I'm getting, because with the man with the telescope, binocular, whatever, and the scythe, people are looking to end it. They're looking to end things for you before they manifest, before they flourish, before they're ready, before they blossom, is what I'm getting. Because I'm not gonna lie, this man card actually makes me think of the evil eye, because he's looking at people at the tower, and then there's a scythe card. And I know that's not a conventional, traditional way of interpreting the Lenormand card, but that's what I'm getting. And you're slowly learning this. I don't know if the 8-8 portal is the point at which you decide to start taking on this kind of more regal position where you don't respond to people bad-mouthing you, you don't engage in the gossip, you kind of remove yourself from kind of the public, because Leo is the opposite sign of Aquarius, right? And Aquarius is the sign of the people. It's also the sign of the internet. So when you embrace this Leo energy, it could be that you're trying to kind of go on a social media hiatus or a social media detox to focus on your work. I'm getting the 10 coin. There's a 10 coin here, and that's obviously the 10 house. And we also have J and Y. And I don't know where you all are, but in some European countries, and I think Spanish, I don't know. In some European countries, J is pronounced Y, is pronounced the way we would pronounce Y in the English language, and J and Y are giving me yes and ya. Okay, so ya means yes, and Y is also yes. It's giving me yes. So whatever you're trying to manifest in your career, yes. But we also have this. We also have these stars, and we have the flower, and the flower is a light turquoise, which tells me that it's not a flower that's ready to blossom quite yet. The star staff, it's reminding me of Sailor Moon, and also I have a hologram star, and I also have a chalice, and it says Helios. So Helios is sun, right? Helios is sun. There's so much stardom energy here. It's crazy. We have two stars. We have Helios, which is sun, and then we also have the crown. So again, it's giving me the energy of choose your battles, and you have to start moving like somebody who actually has something to lose. Okay? Because when you're up there, you can't just get into petty drama. You cannot just engage in petty conflict. I hate to put it this way, but you're above that now, okay? You're above that now, and that's what you're manifesting. You may not feel like that now, but in terms of manifestation, you have to be of the mindset of somebody who no longer engages in that. Now, people will notice this about you. People will notice, oh, fire sign stopped getting into the cat fights I provoked them into. And they're going to try harder and harder and harder. First, they're going to call you, I don't know, they're going to call you lazy. Let's say they call you lazy and you don't respond. And then they kind of up the ante and call you something worse than lazy. They're going to call you lazy and broke, and you don't respond. And then they're kind of getting frustrated. They're going to call you lazy, broke, and unsuccessful, and you're still not going to respond. And they're just going to eventually give up, because I see the cactus, and the cactus is kind of giving me this energy of dryness, but rich in hydration, right? Because that's how cactus, if I'm not mistaken, that's how cactus survive. They carry a lot of water within themselves. They self-nourish. They don't need the rain. And I feel like and I know it sounds counterintuitive to say a fire sign is introverted, but I feel like you either manifesting this more private life will benefit your manifestation, be it in the form of protection from evil eye. It could manifest in that way. So by staying silent, by keeping your business private, by not telling people your business, by moving in silence, your manifestations will flourish without the kind of meddling of people's evil eye. That could be one way. Another way this could manifest is you're manifesting an air of royalty. Okay, you no longer engage in petty drama. You don't go tit for tat anymore. If somebody drops a subliminal on you on, I don't know, on Twitter, on Threads, on IG story, in their YouTube videos, in their TikToks, you're just gonna laugh at it. You're just gonna laugh at it, because that's what somebody in a position of power would do. They just look down and, oh, look, they're trying to attack me, but I don't see this affecting you much. I don't know. You're manifesting this royal mentality, this mentality of kind of, it's you know, kind of how it's giving Beyonce, quite frankly. It's giving I don't want to respond. I'm not responding to the petty drama. And if you do respond, you tend to respond in the form of a product. It's giving lemonade. It's giving turning lemons into lemonade. Okay, because here's the thing, right? If you respond as a tweet, how does that benefit you? I mean, I know you can make money off tweets these days. You can monetize Twitter. I know that. I think it's called X now. I don't use Twitter anymore. I guess you could. I guess. But here, basically, the point is, you're not going to respond if that response isn't going to benefit you or create a work of art. If it's not going to produce a juicy story time video, you're not going to do the video. If it's not going to turn into a song, you're not going to write that song. You're not going to go tit for tat and waste your energy on posting subliminals on your IG story. You're going to write a song, and you're going to monetize on that song, and you're going to get rich off that song, and you're going to laugh all the way to the bank. That is the energy I'm getting. You're going to choose your battles. You're going to work it. It's just giving Beyonce. I should just end this. You're manifesting Beyonce energy. You're manifesting privacy by choice. You're manifesting because when it comes to manifestation, it's again I'm getting this energy. See, you see there's the white moon, and then so the white moon to me is mystery and purity. So the white moon is kind of a white slate, a clean slate. It's kind of a white sheet of paper that's got nothing written on it. So you could manifest a more professional image on social media. So you only post on social media when it's something professional, when you're here to promote something. Not to say that you only post when you want something from your subscribers, your followers, but I feel like it's giving a more professional, pristine, prim image. And with the milk, the cow, I'm getting the energy of, again, milking your grievances. Milking your grievances is coming on very strongly, kind of that lemon into lemonade, but you have to wait until the lemon's ripe to turn it into lemonade. So don't talk about the fact that you're writing a diss track. You know what I mean? Don't tell people, oh, I'm in the middle of writing a diss track, because somebody will, and they can throw the evil eye on you, and it's going to thwart your plans, and you're never going to release it. So STFU, shut up, just do the work. The 10th house is reputation. This is going to be part of your reputation. You're changing. Your reputation is changing. You went from this energy of I get into petty drama to I'm above this now. I'm not going to stoop to their level now. That's the energy I'm getting. And again, we have a double-decker bus, which is, again, giving me London. It's giving me royalty. And I'm so sorry if you're anti-monarchy. And also, I get the Dutch clogs, and the Dutch clogs are giving me groundedness. So it's not like, I'm not saying that this is so important. The clogs are so important here because we have royalty, we have the double-decker bus, and the double-decker bus is giving me double threat, triple threat. You've got so many projects going on that you have no time for the drama anyway, which is wonderful energy. And the Astro dice, what do we have with the Astro dice? We've got Jupiter, which is luck. We've got Uranus, we've got Venus, we've also got the North Node, and it all fell into the sun, which is wild because it's the sun. So you're going to be lucky. This is abundance. It might come as a shock to you, but also I'm getting the energy of the internet. And this is part of your North Node, your fate. Also getting Leo, Capricorn, Gemini, Taurus, and Aries. So I'm getting this energy of being brave, but also being grounded. And again, it's grounded energy so it's giving the energy of you don't stoop to people's level. You don't engage in drama. You're not into that life anymore, but at the same time, it hasn't gone to your head. You're still a very grounded person. If you like gardening, you garden. Instead of engaging into the drama, you read books. You do kind of this down-to-earth hobby at home. You could cook. That's where, I also see you with the Taurus. I'm also seeing some of you succeeding in cooking. We also have, again, oh my God, we have the 5th house, the 4th house, the 8th house, and the 1st house. Again, this energy of being brave. Oh, and another thing I'm getting with the 5th house is a sense of humor. So you're quiet, but when you do respond, you do it humorously. You do it in a nonchalant kind of, I don't really care. It's not that serious. It's not that serious. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from you is you don't engage in drama. And if you engage, it's either going to be you giving a vibe of an air of, oh, I'm royalty. It's not that serious. I've got things going on for me. So you seem kind of unfazed. And I know this isn't kind of, you will make, I do get, there is money energy because obviously it's the 8-8, the 8-8 portal. So most of us expect to see kind of improvements in the money sector. That is totally happening. But this air of being kind of in a different sphere, it's kind of giving you now embody the energy of somebody who breathes in what's the term, rarefied air. And that is going to really improve your manifestations because it's a state of mind you've elevated in terms of your mindset. And obviously when you're in that mindset, you're going to attract more abundance. You're going to attract success. You're going to attract the kind of attention that you want, right? Because there's bad attention and there's good attention. And I feel like for my collective, you're the type of people who actually believe that there's a difference between good attention and bad attention, because some people, I work in marketing, and some people don't, they don't know the difference. They don't, well, maybe they do know the difference between negative attention and positive attention, but they don't really care. And I feel like my collective, you do care. And I feel like for those of us who do care, it's harder to gain success because we compete with people who have no issue with using bad attention to get ahead, while we're not necessarily interested in just getting ahead. We want to elevate, because there's a difference between getting ahead and elevating, right? Getting ahead is horizontal movement. It's moving from one point to another horizontally, whereas elevating, you move vertically, you move up. And when you get ahead through negativity, you're just moving from one place to another, but you're not necessarily elevating. And I feel like, yeah, so by elevating your mindset, you're going to elevate. And I feel like for this pile, it's not going to actually come exactly on the portal. You're not going to get, I mean, you could go suddenly viral during the 8/8 portal. I'm sure that might be the case for some of you, but for most of you, this is about planting seeds. The 8/8 portal will be the switching point, the changing point, your turning point to a new way of thinking, a new way of being, a new way of moving. Like I said, it's the energy of moving like you have something to lose, even if you don't think you have anything to lose right now. But once you start thinking of, oh, I have to think of my reputation. Oh, I have to think of my livelihood. Oh, I have to think about my business. I have to keep my reputation clean. That's when things will kind of really see movement, see positive movement, not negative movement, positive movement. So I hope that helped. I guess the main advice would be to move in silence. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye. Okay, so fire signs, I don't know if this is actually a bonus message or I'm just re-emphasizing something that I already said earlier. I can't even remember because I'm doing this video in the course of a couple of days, and if you notice, one of the charms that I drew was a clog, and I don't know if I already mentioned this before, but the clog is made of wood. So the material of the charm of the clog is made of wood, and it's been painted. And from that wooden energy, I'm getting the energy of earth. So if I already mentioned this earlier in the video, consider this me reiterating what re-emphasizing what I said, because this is so important. But keeping grounded will be very important for you. I relate to this a lot. I don't know. I don't even have that many fire placements, which is why I probably lack drive. But the message I just relayed to you somehow resonate for myself, in that I feel like I'm getting burnt out by constantly pushing these videos on this channel. And I really feel like after posting this 888 video, I'm just going to take a break and ground myself, because there is something about doing this work. And I feel like this bonus message is probably for those of you who work in some sort of spiritual field. For example, if you're a tarot reader, if you're a Reiki practitioner, if you do crystal healing, if you do past life regression sessions, if you're a medium, if you're a psychic, whatever. If you do that kind of work, I feel like there's something about this Mercury retrograde. I believe it's in Virgo, is it? I can't even remember, but I believe it's in Virgo, and Virgo is ruled by Mercury. I can't even remember, but there's something about this Mercury retrograde that for some of us spiritual folks, yeah, I can't even talk. For some of us spiritual folk, it's doing this thing where it's it's opening our crown chakra too large. I don't know. It's probably got more to do with the fact that it's Leo season than it is Mercury retrograde. But as we know, Leo is the sign of royalty, right? So I feel like there's something about the crown chakra that's being overstimulated. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. But me doing readings during this Leo season with my crown chakra, trying to connect to everybody, to a wider audience, because I usually do my native language channel for people in my country who speak my language, but English is such a widely spoken language that I feel like my crown chakra is, I don't know, I don't feel grounded. It's kind of like it feels like my root chakra is dissipating. So if you resonate with that feeling, or if you kind of feel like, oh, I feel woozy, I feel ungrounded, I feel like my energy is being pulled all over the place, it's probably time for you to ground. And grounding is so important during in the process of manifesting finances, kind of more the material things in life, because it's connected to earth energy. And also with the wooden clog, I think that for you would benefit a lot from watching the earth pile, especially, but only if you have earth placements. Okay, if you don't have earth placements, don't even bother. I already know what I'm gonna say about the earth pile, because the way I do these is I draw the cards and then I take a look at them, and then sometimes I'll even take notes, and I feel like the earth one is going to be, that's going to be significant. So, okay, that's your bonus message. I guess this message only applies if you do spiritual work. Take care of that crown chakra. I know that's not a specifically 888 portal message, but yeah, protect your crown chakra during this this Leo season, because there's something about the crown chakra that's become very vulnerable, and I can feel it. I can feel my energy getting scattered all over the place. And if you feel the same way, if you feel like you're kind of you feel like your attention's getting pulled here and there and all over the place, it's probably time for you to take some time for yourself to regroup and reroute. I'm actually root as in ROOT, not route, reroute to the ground. There are several grounding meditations, guided meditations that you can do on YouTube, and I highly recommend those. Those will be very helpful for you, okay? So I hope that helped. Thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, so earth signs, sun, moon, rising, Venus. Okay, so you got the release card. You also got the your Lenormand cards are fish and clover, which tells me that releasing something will help you gain financial luck. Because clover is luck and fish is money, and we got the release card, letting go, freedom, and healing. And it's so interesting because the girl in the oracle card for release is actually looking at the charm, the charm coaster where I keep my charms. So what I'm getting from that release is the cards are telling you to release people, places, things, situations, habits, especially mental habits, certain habits that put you in a certain mindset. Also friends who kind of pull you down energetically and prevent you from manifesting without you knowing. So I'm sensing this kind of energy of you kind of feeling like everything is okay, A-okay on the surface, and you're following all the kind of manifestation rules. You're listening to the manifestation gurus and you're taking their instructions, because I'm pretty sure most of us know how manifestation works and how to align our energies with whatever goal we're trying to manifest, right? But I feel like the trick here is to look beyond the surface and really kind of trust your discernment, because what I'm getting here is okay, so one of the charms I pulled here is of Tigger dressed up like Piglet. And that alone, oh God, that alone is giving me the energy of don't judge things. And I'm not saying you like to judge things by its cover, but don't try not to be fooled by people's outer appearances, right? So I know a lot of kind of these manifestation teachings. They teach us to think like abundant people. They want us to think like rich people. But the thing is, and don't get me wrong, having faith that God, the universe, your guardian angels and your spirit guides and your ancestors are going to take care of you and always protect you, that is wonderful. But at the same time, I don't think our protectors, our spirit team and God want us to behave irresponsibly. And I feel like for some of us initially, and I'm guilty of this myself, initially when we get into kind of this manifestation mindset, we think that the abundant mindset is acting like a trust fund baby with no consequences, even if we're not actually trust fund babies. So I feel like the true abundant mindset, and I had to learn this the hard way, the true abundant mindset is not when you act like you've got all the money in the world and you just trust that the universe will give you your money back if you just trust that your guardian angels and God and your ancestors will take care of it later. That's not how it works. I feel like the true abundant mindset is a mindset of generosity. And the mindset of generosity doesn't necessarily, and I know when people hear generosity, they automatically think, oh, a philanthropic gajillionaire. But no, the energy of generosity is not necessarily out of the pockets of a wealthy tech gajillionaire who does charity work. Okay, that's not it, because how do we know those people don't do it just for a tax break, right? So not to say that's all they do. I'm sure some of them are actually genuinely well-meaning, but a generous mindset, in my personal opinion, is kind of more. I would rather be around somebody who is broke on their bank account balance, but actually still have a spirit of giving. And even if they don't have much to give, they're always giving their time, they're always giving their energy, they're always giving you their heart, which I know that sounds so corny, giving you their heart. What am I thinking? But you can be around a wealthy person, and I've also experienced this, where you have a person who's not necessarily struggling. They're perfectly middle class. They have money. They have savings. They have a steady income, but they're never willing to spend money. You know, I've had a friend like that. Literally, she would just hang out with us, and she would do the most to spend the least. She would literally trick us into paying her meals or dinners or whatever, and it was just kind of this. And at one point she even stole the tip. I kid you not, she literally stole the tip that we put together to give to the wait staff. So that is not, she has money, she's not poor, but that is not an abundant mindset. That's a Scrooge mindset, and that's not good for your manifestation. So I feel like our homework this year, this 888, because every year there's 888, but this year in particular, because it's 888, because 2024 reduces to 8, right? So it's 888. Our homework this year is to go deeper, is to go beyond the outer appearances. So instead of aligning with people just because they wear flashy things, let's look deeper into kind of their vibes. Are they giving people? Because I would rather be hanging around somebody who's only got €5, but is willing to share the €1 with somebody else that they think is less fortunate than them, less fortunate than they are, you know? They could have €5 and they could be struggling to pay rent, but they see somebody who doesn't even have a place that they pay rent to, aka a homeless person, and they're willing to give €1 out of their last 5 years to that person. I would rather be around that person, because that person is of the true abundance mindset. They think, oh, I still have some to give. And that mindset of, oh, I still have some to give is kind of a better vibration, a better frequency than the person who has 2 million in their bank but is a penny pincher. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the vibe. That's the vibe. Also, sometimes we think that, okay, this person has flashy things. They've got designer bags, they've got a shiny car, and what's there to say that that's actually theirs? I mean, the concern is that, and I'm not saying that everybody who has flashy things is like this, but sometimes people get into debt to obtain those things, to acquire those things, and maybe deep down in the back of their heads, as much as they kind of show these things off, as much as they like to flex on social media, as much as they like to flex when they're going out with you, in the back of their heads, there's this anxiety of, oh my God, how am I going to pay this off? How am I going to pay the installments for this car? How am I going to make my credit card payments for this designer bag? And if you rub elbows with those kind of people, their anxieties will rub off to you and you don't even know it. And that's the concern of kind of that subconscious vibration. So, me personally, I would rather just hang around people who live within their means, because there's a calmness to them, there's a tranquility to them. That's not to say that you should go for people who have absolutely no financial anxieties, because people who have zero financial anxieties actually don't exist. Everybody has financial anxieties. Even wealthy people, even super, super, super wealthy people have anxieties about losing what they already have. However, there are different types of anxieties, and not all anxieties were created equal. And so we want to be around people whose anxieties are based on responsibility. We want to be around, okay, because let's say you have a friend who's anxious because something happened to her, and now she's only got half of her emergency funds left, because ish happens to all of us, right? We all get into kind of these, sudden emergencies and unexpected happenings. And so if your friend is anxious about having to dip into her emergency fund, and now she's only got half of her emergency fund left, and she's just scrambling trying to replenish her emergency fund, that's a fine anxiety, because that's an anxiety that is not rooted in some sort of desperation to impress people. The people we want to avoid are people who are secretly deep down anxious, not only because they have a debt to pay, but they're paying debts over things like, I don't know, a designer bag because it had a big logo on it. No shade to anybody who buys designer bags on their credit card or whatever. Fine, do whatever you want with your money. But I think that might be a little unhealthy, and that's kind of pulling you down, because just let go of this desire to impress people is what I'm getting. Also, be very mindful of your circles, who you surround yourself with. And I know you've probably, you think, oh my God, I've heard this before. Of course I have to surround myself with positive people, not crab in the bucket kind of people. But you would be surprised. The people that you quote unquote have fun with. I think, okay, here, I used to have a friend who always would put me in a peasant energy. And I'm so sorry if my use of the P word, the word peasant, sounds classist. It is totally classist, but I'm still going to use the word peasant for impact, okay? Because this really, really, really needs to be said, and I can speak of I can speak to this based on my own experience. But I used to have a friend who used to always put me into a quote unquote peasant energy. And when I mean peasant energy, what I'm saying is this woman used to put me in a situation where, after all is said and done, I felt just plain shitty about myself. And the way she would do this it's so insidious. And I don't think she actually meant to do this, because she didn't even know any better. But this friend of mine, and this story is coming to me because if I don't know if you can zoom in, but if you zoom in to the charms I pulled for the earth sign reading, we got the evil eye, right? And the evil eye is in the reverse, and it's also the feather. So the feather is a symbol of air, and air is communication, right? So the way she would put me into this peasant energy is she was very envious of people. Now back then I was delusional, and I thought, okay, she's envious of all these different people, but of course because I'm one of her closest friends, she would never be envious of me. But in reality, she really hated everyone, and I don't know. She was the type of person who had zero problem in befriending people she actually didn't like, as long as she could benefit something from them. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is she used to be envious of everybody from her wealthy cousin to our friends who do well. And so she used to do this thing where she would gossip and talk smack about these people that she envied, that were doing materially well in life, because she was particularly materialistic. And so she would talk ish about people, and it made me feel like shit at the end of the day. Because when you talk ish about people who do better than you, what does that make you? You know, if I engage with this woman who likes to talk ish about people who are more successful than her, what does that make me? That made me feel like a peasant. She made me feel like I'm just a commoner talking about royalty. And because half of the time, I don't even know the people she's talking smack about. You know, it's kind of that energy of we're people talking about people we don't even know. And people we can't even call our friends, and we're talking ish about them. And they're obviously doing better than us. It just kind of makes me feel like, oh, well, I'm just a lowly peasant, and I'm just jealous of all these people who do well. Whereas, see how low vibrational that is. That is going to mess up your manifestations, because even if no matter what shiny things you wear, if we're in that kind of mindset of talking about people who have things that we don't, with envy, with jealousy, it just drags us down. And when I started watching these tarot videos and manifestation videos, I kept hearing people say, raise your vibration, raise your vibration. And you know, that's spiritual jargon. And I used to not know. I used to have zero clue what that meant. But actually what that means is getting away from people like my friend here, who always made me feel like a peasant. Because just think of it. If you're a gajillionaire, if you had €1 billion and you had the option to have a private jet, but you choose not to have a private jet for environmental reasons, would you envy another billionaire who bought a private jet because you're too ignorant to understand that's bad for the environment, right? So another example, let's say you have €1 million. You have £1 million, right? You have £1 million, and you have a fellow millionaire friend who also has £1 million, and you like pizza, but you hate tacos. Actually, I don't know anybody who hates tacos, but let's pretend you hate tacos, and your fellow millionaire here who has equal amounts of assets but buys tacos, but you don't like tacos. So are you going to be jealous of that other millionaire who bought tacos, who bought something that you literally don't want? So I think the first step to kind of getting in that vibration is to think of things as life choices, because ultimately the biggest luxury in life is the ability to have choices. Okay, so if you're financially underprivileged, it limits your choices. If you have too many assets, if you're too rich, and yes, you can be too rich. If you get too rich, then your assets start bogging you down, and then it limits your life choices. It kind of stifles you in a way, because you have so many you're responsible to your assets, you're worried about your assets, and then you're constantly afraid that people are going to steal from you. You're always going to be suspicious of who befriends you, and it starts becoming a problem. And if you have children, you're always going to be concerned about, oh my God, is somebody going to kidnap my kid? And then you have to, it starts becoming a limitation, and that limitation is also a form of a lack of choice. So we want to be at that sweet spot where we have choices in life, but we're not we're not bogged down by quote unquote overabundance. You know what I mean? So there's that. And also I think a second step. So the first step was to clear your energy and surround yourself with people who are energetically healthy. So I don't know if I mentioned this before, because I kept kind of deleting some of the stuff I said, but I said earlier that you would be within better you would be in better energy surrounding yourself who live within their means than people who are flashy, but they're in debt, and in the back of their heads, they're kind of concerned about, oh my God, how do I pay off this designer purse that I'm showing off? Also, I would avoid people who go out of their way to show off their assets, because if they go out of their way to show off their assets, it tells you that they also went out of their way to acquire those assets to show off. You know what I mean? There are people who go out of their way to buy things that are beyond their means, and then they kind of hide it from people. There are people like that too. But a lot of the time, people do it because they need validation, that they need approval from people. And you don't want to be rubbing elbows with people with that kind of desperate energy. And I don't want to sound insensitive, but that kind of desperate energy usually comes from a wounded inner child. And people have problems. We all have problems. I have my inner child problems. I have financial inner child problems. Literally, I grew up financially abused. I had money weaponized against me. So I'm not perfect here. I'm not the expert of all of this. I'm learning too, okay? But I have life experiences that I feel like are valuable to share with people, so that they don't have to learn the hard way that I learned the hard way. But you really don't want people's inner child traumas and anxieties rubbing off you. So you want to be around people who have healthy anxieties, reasonable anxieties like how do I save money, instead of how do I impress this person, because you don't want those anxieties rubbing off you. And another thing is this. So that was the first thing, right? The second thing that's important is to surround yourself with people who are generous. Where did I get that generous energy though? Because I'm pretty sure I got this generous energy from some sort of charm. So the generous energy was coming from, I think it's from the 6 and the 9 and the 6, because 6 and 9, it's giving me the it's giving me the giving energy of the 6 of Pentacles. Also, we see kind of that rocking horse. That rocking horse is what's giving me childhood energy. Yeah, there's a lot of 6s and a lot of 9s. And we also have Sagittarian energy, and we have the 6th house. So 6th house is focusing on work, being in a healthy work environment, ensuring that you're fairly remunerated, but also with that generosity. So, okay, the first thing was surrounding yourself with people who don't pull you into that peasant energy, right? So the second thing is to surround yourself with generous people. And I know when I say generous people, a lot of people are going to think, oh, you're talking about you want me to hang around wealthy people. No. Generous people are not necessarily wealthy, and wealthy people are not necessarily generous. Hey, have I already talked about this? I don't know. Wait a minute. So anyway, I'm sorry if I already told this story, but being around generous people doesn't necessarily mean that the person you're hanging around is wealthy, okay? So you can have somebody who is financially down in the dumps. They could be financially poor. Let's say they only have €5 to their name, right? They have €5 or £5 to their name, and they see somebody who has less than them, and they feel like, oh wow, I have €5, but I still have more than that person. So they give that person £1 to buy breakfast, right? Because maybe the person with £5 is struggling to pay rent, but the person that they gave £1 to actually doesn't even have a place to live that they pay rent to. Okay, so you're struggling to pay rent, the other person is homeless, that person needs more than the person who's struggling to pay rent. So the person who struggles to pay rent gives 20% of the money that they have. I know that's such an extreme kind of example, but you know what I'm saying, okay? People don't really have to have much to be a giving person. And it's giving things isn't only material. I think that one of our most valuable assets is time. And me personally, and I think that so many people take time for granted, but when you have a chronic illness like I do, and a lot of time you're too fatigued to do anything, and you feel like, oh my God, I'm just wasting time, it really makes you think of the value of time. And people who give their time to other people for free to help them do other things, that is somebody who's generous. They may not have much material things to give to other people, but that is a form of generosity. They're always giving. They're always, what can I do to another person? How can I be of service? That is, and I'm not saying that you should hang around these people to take advantage of them, obviously, but it's kind of their energy. It's kind of their spirit that you want to be at because that is the true abundant mindset. The true mindset of abundance is knowing that even if I don't have much, I still have more than that other person. Because I think the problem with society these days and with social media these days is that we are constantly being shown extreme flexing. And extreme flexing on social media is extreme because it's, and I'm to be honest, I'm not one of those people who thinks that every piece of content that we consume has to be quote unquote relatable, because I think that's so patronizing. But I feel like because it's so extreme, people have unrealistic expectations for themselves, and because of those unrealistic expectations of themselves, it doesn't take much for a person to feel poor. It doesn't take much. You can be perfectly middle class and have all your basic necessities met. You have your clothes, you have a roof over your head, you have food. Basically all your basic necessities are met, and you can still feel poor because the depictions of what's supposed to be normal on social media is so extreme, and it's actually unrealistic. And if you feel that way, if you often feel that way, I would strongly recommend watching under consumption core content, because under consumption core content is a beautiful thing. Yeah, and just because somebody is wealthy doesn't mean they're generous. And I don't mean that in a way where we as middle class people, for example, should feel entitled to a wealthier person's assets. I'm not saying that at all. But a wealthy person, a person who's not struggling, can be not generous. Because I had a friend like that. I had a friend who she had an income. She comes from a middle class family, just like me. But she would do the most to pay the least, okay? She would do whatever it took to not spend her own money. She would invite me to things only if I was driving, so she didn't have to pay for transport. She would tell other friends to fetch her a muffin, fetch her a brownie at Starbucks, and then she wouldn't pay that person back. She would basically just do the most to pay the least, and she would literally date people just for money. And she never hit that, which kind of, I mean, there's a part of me that kind of respects the fact that she never hid the fact that she only wants to go out with wealthy men. But another part of me kind of feels like she dehumanizes people, so I don't respect that. But this person is not struggling, right? She's not struggling. She can pay for her own stuff, but she goes out of her way to not spend money, and that is a non-abundant mindset. She might be on paper on her bank account, she might be abundant, but she's not of that frequency. So I feel like it's so important to align yourself with true abundant mindsets, in that you're not around people who emit kind of this desperate energy and bring you down. You're not around people who make you feel like one of the peasants instead of somebody who can actually achieve something. I don't know. I think one of the first most helpful things that I did to myself is I just started seeing rich people as my equals, even if I didn't have what they had, and just started being happy for people. And it was so hard. It's so hard because sometimes they have things that I want, but it's, yeah, that was really helpful. So charm-wise, we have the 6th house in the Aries and Pisces cusp. So I feel like if you have any original ideas that that came from your childhood or something subconscious that might benefit you in the workplace, I would do morning meditations, and also I see the 1st house is the 5th house and the 9th house. So, yeah, 5th house is entertainment, sports, games, and it's also Leo season. So I guess that's confirmation that this is what the seeds that you're meant to that you are meant to plant. This 888 is first of all, that non-peasant mindset and realigning yourself with a true abundance mindset, and focus less on what's seen in people's outward appearances. Pisces is more spiritual, so really use your intuition to kind of get a sense of who is of a true abundance mindset, who is of a true generous mindset. They don't have to look impressive on the outside, and in fact, I would be more weary of people who are flashy on the outside. And also, I'm getting the North Node in Sagittarius, as well as Sagittarius on the Sun. So I feel like if you plant these seeds, these two main things, so a true abundance mindset and a spirit of generosity, if you plant these seeds in Leo season, you will start seeing results as soon as the Sun in Sagittarius. Even if you don't actually see literal material wealth coming in, you will start seeing that switch in mindset. You will start feeling less envious. Not saying that you're an envious person, but we're all human here, okay? We're all human. You'll start seeing a shift in your mindset where you're genuinely happy for people, when you genuinely have compassion for people, when you genuinely want people to succeed. Because that's one of the things. I don't know if I already mentioned this earlier, but my friend who always put me in that peasant energy, because that peasant energy is very real. One of the people that she used to be envious of was her cousin, which her cousin is admittedly spoiled and privileged, so whatever. But another one of our friends who she used to be very envious of is somebody that actually had a really bad childhood. So she was a classmate of ours in high school. She was a classmate of ours in high school, and she had a pretty tragic kind of story. She was raised by her aunt because her mom was some type of adult worker, and I don't know. She just had a really rough start, and she somehow managed to become an engineer. And because she became an engineer, she started entering these kind of better circles. And now she's married to this really wealthy businessman. And my jealous friend here kept talking ish about her. And deep down, I always felt really bad about taking part in talking ish about this friend, because I knew that she worked hard for the life she has now, and she totally deserved it. And it was about time that life started treating her better. And she was just so jealous. And she even said some kind of racist ish about the husband, and she started kind of I don't know no I'm not going back to that peasant energy, because that peasant energy is real. That peasant energy really made me feel like, oh, I'm just this kind of plebe, and I'm just talking about people that I don't know anymore personally. I don't have these people's numbers, and I'm talking about how wonderful their lives are, and I'm mad at it. And that just made me feel really pathetic. And if you resonate with this kind of with a peasant energy message, as offensive as this might be to some people, I'm sure some people are going to call me classist in the comments. But if you resonate with this peasant energy, I would strongly advise on watching. There's a video I watched recently. It's actually a pick a card by another tarot YouTuber and another tarot channel, and I think it's new something, and she did a reading on each social media platform. And I would recommend watching the Twitter pile for that, because she did a reading on each social media platform and their quote unquote personalities. So in her readings, each of them had different energies and personalities, and they had a kind of different vibe about them and different crowd. Some of them had cult-like thinking. Some of them are filled with jealous people. Some of them are motivated, hardworking people who just want to hustle. And I would recommend watching the Twitter segment of that, because that Twitter segment, it gives you an idea of what this peasant energy does to people and what the peasant energy is. And also it reminds me of the generous spirit, in that if you go on Twitter, you will see a lot of people on Twitter talking about the Eat the Rich movement. But what really bothers me, and I know it sounds so bad to be bothered by the Eat the Rich movement, but what bothers me about a lot of these people who support the Eat the Rich movement on social media is, why are you spending 2 hours on Twitter talking ish about eating the rich, but you won't even spend time to feed the poor? Why are you spending time tweeting ish about wealthy people when you could be donating your time to better your community? You don't have to be wealthy to donate your time. You could literally just do a free video teaching children in your country a foreign language that for a fact will help them get better jobs in the job market, Because in my country, if you speak English, you're guaranteed a good job. So if I were to teach English for free on a YouTube channel in my country, I could help a lot of people, So why not do something like that, as opposed to spend 2 hours talking ish about eating the rich and how you deserve their money, although you did nothing to deserve it. You know what I mean? And I'm trying not to sound like a billionaire apologist, but I would not like to be in those gajillionaires' positions, because that is a lot of responsibility. If I do something wrong and the company crumbles down, that's a lot of people's jobs on the line, and I don't want to be I can barely be responsible for my own job. Okay, I have to keep. I would hate to be in a CEO's position. I know a lot of people want to be CEOs because they like the power, they like the prestige. But if you really think about it, do we really want to be? I don't know. I'm not going to speak for you, but me personally, I wouldn't like to be personally responsible for thousands of people's jobs. You know what I mean? So I think again, with the charms, we have time. Again, time is a very time is one. Donate time. If you feel like you don't have material wealth to donate, donating time is a good way to kind of cultivate that generous energy. And also with the barbican, so if you don't know, well, the barbican on this charm is from a halal beer, but if you look up barbican is actually an auditorium, a kind of cultural center. I think Benedict Cumberbatch did his Hamlet there. He played Hamlet at the Barbican in London. So I feel like some of you might resonate with one of my collective readings about the evil eye in social media, and stop enabling people who want to see you suffer. Oh, and speaking of other tarot readings on YouTube, there's another tarot reading that I would recommend you watch. It's by Jaylene, but I can't really remember which one it was exactly. I think it was one of the ones that she posted right before she went on vacation. So, okay. It's probably, so I actually took the photos for this reading on the 19th of July, 2024. So I feel like it's any of her videos, any of Jaylene's videos from 2024 that were posted before the 19th of July. So that's the one, and pick pile one. And she talks about this energy of hating on, people who are more privileged than us. When we hate on people who are more privileged than us, we're actually kind of lowering our energy to a level that's, and I hate to say this, but because I believe that people are equal, but in reality, if we were realistic, the world isn't equal. So when we hate on people who have more than us, we kind of put ourselves in a position below them, and that messes up with our manifestations. I know this pile is kind of triggering for some people. So I recently did a reading on something that had to do with a stage. And I think in that reading, I said that if you have people evil eyeing you, the key isn't to get off the stage, but you need to pluck people out of your audience. So if you have a platform, don't be afraid of losing followers in the short term, because it's kind of like, if you have 100 followers and you lose 10 followers because they were offended by something you said, but the 90 were in agreement, rather than worrying about appeasing those 10 people and try to win them back, just let them go and focus on nurturing the 90 people that you have, because that 90 will kind of multiply to 180. You'll just find more people who are in your soul tribe, who agree with you. And I'm not saying that you should only hang around people who agree with you, but okay. With this Sagittarian energy, I feel like you're being one of the keys to increasing your abundance is to kind of is through education, and it is great. You would benefit from actually befriending and listening to opinions that you disagree with online, but when it comes to your own platform, and this is only for those of you who have platforms, you would be better off focusing on people who already believe in whatever you believe. You know what I mean? Kind of find your tribe and cultivate that tribe instead of trying to please everybody. And what else are we getting from the charms? I'm getting MTV. And MTV is kind of archaic and it's old school, right? So I feel like getting into the mindset of somebody who lived in that era, in the 80s, in the 90s, as in focusing less on social media and actually interacting with people in real life would benefit you. I think being chronically online, because whenever I see that clock, I always see Chronos, and being chronically online is also kind of going to deplete your energy and kind of put you in that peasant mentality. And with the owl ring, With the Owl Ring, I'm getting wisdom from your spirit guides. I feel like your spirit guides, your ancestors, your spirit team want you to be more wise. So again, not getting into the kind of abundant mindset where you not I wouldn't say over trust in the universe, but you put too much you rely too much on the universe to save your ass every time you fall instead of actually doing the wise thing. I'm also seeing cursive, so I feel like something about learning classic literature. I'm getting so much ninth house energy right now, kind of like studying the classics, studying kind of I already mentioned Benedict Cumberbatch playing Hamlet in The Barbican. It's kind of like focus more on I'm seeing somebody go to the library, borrowing, swapping, kind of less buying, and the underconsumption core thing is this. I think that the underconsumption core trend is a really good exercise in learning to be grateful for whatever we already have, and that will help with your manifestations. What else? Again, the star. We're getting the star, and that star is also giving me the energy of that reading I did about the stage. I'll link it down below. And we also have the Little Mermaids. See, we're getting the Little Mermaid's castle, and that's kind of stop yearning for, because in the Little Mermaid used to yearn for life above she used to yearn for a life on land, and I feel like getting out of that shackle of kind of the shackles of idolizing and over romanticizing what other people have is what we need to stop doing. The rainbow is being grateful of what you already have. The number 2 is about cultivating relationships over things, prioritizing your relationship over things. The 7 is choices, so understanding that having options and choices is a real luxury in life. And P, what am I getting with P? But the P is in the reverse, and it looks like a D, and we also have 2 D's and AD is giving me assistant director. So what am I getting with assistant director? AD, assistant director. Some of you could be an assistant director, I guess, or if you work as an assistant director, that's going to help you climb the ladder. Something about an assistant director, I don't know. It'll resonate if it resonates, that assistant director. But also with assistant director, I feel like you would benefit a lot from a mentor. So I think that's it. Sorry if this was kind of offensive. I think this is going to be the most in-depth reading, the most in-depth element in this whole reading. And I think I'm going to just direct the other piles to this reading, I guess. Some of the okay, I think I've covered everything. I'm just looking at my notes. Reconsider manifestation techniques. Like I said, reconsider your manifestation techniques. If you've been just following what people say online, I'm sensing that some of it might have backfired on you. So I'm looking through my notes. Stay away from people who just take. Focus less on eating the rich on Twitter, and focusing more on feeding the poor, even through your energy, even through your time, even just talking to somebody who doesn't have a home. If you meet them on the street, don't be fooled by appearances, because rubbing elbows with people who wear designer will not help you if their anxiety over paying debt will rub off you too. Okay, we already covered that. You don't want their energy of desperation. what you want to do is be around people who live within their means, because again, they have calming energy. So I guess that's it. I hope that helped, and I'm so sorry if I offended people. Yeah, I try to not be as harsh. I actually recently watched a tarot pick a card, and I can't remember which channel it was from, but it basically said that if you want your channel to go well, you need to learn how to communicate in a more calming, soothing kind of energy. And I think sometimes I could be a little too chaotic, too blunt, too harsh. For example, like I use the word peasant, and I feel kind of bad using that word, but I felt like it's because it's such a strong word, and I know it's triggering, and some people might feel a certain way about it, but I honestly can't find a better way to express what I needed to express without using that word. So I'm really sorry if I offended anyone. Thanks. I really hope this helped. Thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, air signs. I'm going to try to make this really quick because my readings for the two previous elements were quite long. So I'm getting confidence and I'm getting community. And for some reason, for this particular group, for this particular pile, I feel like the air signs watching this reading are divided into two groups. Okay, so we have Team Gemini Aquarius, and then we have Team Libra. Now, I see kind of these two teams, and it doesn't matter whether you're whichever one you identify with. This reading will resonate for both of you if it resonates. But I feel like for the Libra people, you're very focused on aesthetics, and for the Gemini and Aquarius people, you're very focused on you understand that you can be different and you want to be different. And it's kind of like, and I got a lot of channeled messages from this one. So I got apple versus oranges. I've got you've got an edge. I also got the word goat for some reason, and work with what you have and make it work for you. And conformity will backfire in an oversaturated industry. Manifest coming into your own. So what I'm getting from that is I feel like for I'm getting for the Aquarians and the Geminis, whatever you already have going on, keep doing that and don't feel pressured to conform to what the quote-unquote industry standard is within your workspace. So I feel like for pile 3, for the air signs, I feel like your abundance is about kind of leveling up at the workplace, whereas I feel like for piles 1 and 2, for the fire signs and the earth signs, it was more about kind of manifestation techniques and mindsets and all that. Whereas you are a more practical kind of thing. Your issue is a more practical kind of thing where kind of you're very concerned with conforming to a particular aesthetic, when I kind of sense that the aesthetic that you're trying to follow will be outdated soon, or it's going to be irrelevant soon, and you could actually start a trend, especially those already on the Aquarius Gemini team. You are not on trend, but you will become the trend. That just came through. And for the Libra people, I would encourage doing your own aesthetic, because you following aesthetics is just a waste of your talents, because you're a Libra. You're a Libra anyway. You know how to make things beautiful, and whatever, even if what you see now is beautiful and you like what you see, I can see you beautifying it even harder, to the point where what already exists cannot even be compared with what you come up with originally. And it's kind of like comparing apples to oranges. With the tower and the letter, I'm getting that if you communicate with originality, the news of your existence, and I'm so sorry I'm wording this weirdly, but the news of your existence will reach high places, and just kind of this aura of confidence is going to win in a community. So it's kind of like, okay, you it's giving me it's kind of giving me, okay, everybody's just buying this a certain kind of let's say a certain kind of furniture. Let's say you want to start a platform and you want to set up your studio a certain way, and you see everybody owns the same type of furniture. Now you can't actually afford the trendy furniture that everybody's buying, because remember back in the day, when beauty gurus all had the same kind of furniture, they all had the same IKEA drawers that were white, and they all had the same acrylic storage for their makeup, and they all had the same layout, they all had the same furniture, all their furniture was white. And I feel like some of you genuinely can't afford that, and instead of kind of getting in debt to achieve that look, this is not me. This is the cards telling you that kind of upscaling what you already have, or adding your touch, or even, okay, so I feel like for the Libra people, you would upscale and kind of decorate things to spruce things up, and then that will start a trend. And for the Gemini people and the Aquarius people, that is going to be your edge. That is going to be your quirk. In a world where everybody buys the same furniture, where everybody looks the same, where everybody has the same things, you will have something that you created yourself, and nobody can compete with that. I'm also getting the image of kind of, for the Aquarius and the Geminis, I'm getting the image, if you have a tarot channel, I would strongly advise on creating your own oracle cards. Create your own oracle cards, and nobody will have the same oracle cards as you. Obviously, I don't do that, but I might. Hey, who knows if I have time. But yeah, I'm getting the energy of create your own thing. And also we have the see, I'm getting the ramen with the eggs. And with the ramen with the eggs, it's giving me kind of this staple thing. It's kind of giving me something that's classic. It's giving me something that your mom would have owned. I don't know why. I know it's just ramen, but for some reason, it's giving me the energy of these pair of shoes that your mom had in the 80s. And you take them and then you wear them on your channel instead of buying what's new and just having what everybody else has. And also I'm getting the energy of Leo energy doesn't orbit. Okay, so we're in Leo season, and I know you're an air sign, but with Leo energy doesn't orbit, I'm strongly getting this energy that this is not the way you manifest your abundance, is not by being a follower, okay? And I read banned books. So I think that would be a unicorn. We got 2 unicorn charms, and we also got the white cat in the reverse, and we also have A. So you're going to give A, F. Okay, so what I'm getting from that is things are going to be really hit and miss. If just follow your intuition, because some of them will get an A grade, and some of them will get an F grade, and if you commit to not following trends and just doing your own thing, some people will either really not like it, but some people will really like it. And I feel like I don't think this is a surprise though. I think for some of you Gemini and Aquarians, I feel like you're already polarizing anyway, so I don't think this will phase you at all. I'm also getting the 5th house in Aquarius, and we also have, what is that? That's Jupiter in Sagittarius. So I feel like being larger than life will help. Also the North Node. Is that the North Node or the South? I think that's the North Node in Cancer and Gemini. So again, your living space will be of significance for some reason. I feel like I'm just getting this homey feeling of you upholstering. I'm not even sure what that means, upholstering. And Gemini is about communication. So I feel like your communication skills, actually your communication skills, and you're an air sign, so this should be easy for you, but your communication skills will be of more value than your aesthetics, okay? So what I'm getting from that is, for example, let's say you have a commentary channel, or let's say you're an anchor on TV. I actually know a couple of TV anchors in my country. People don't care what you look like. People don't care what you look like. People don't care what your setup looks like. I mean, obviously, it'll help people. The first impression is always important. But once people listen to your opinions, people don't care what's going on in your background. You could literally just film in front of a white wall, and you'll be fine, and you'll survive by that. You can literally be. I have a really ugly, I don't want to call it ugly because that's mean, but I have a Radiant Rider-Waite tarot deck that's really dirty, and it's used, and it's just really used up, and it's dirty. It doesn't look new, and it doesn't look glamorous at all, but it channels it's really good at channeling. And I feel like you will draw people. The people who are attracted to you are the kind of people who don't care what you look like. You could literally wake up, for some of you, especially kind of the Gemini Aquarius team here, you could literally, and also maybe the Libra team too, because I kind of see this image of a Libra waking up and you being naturally beautiful. You just woke up like that, and you do a video, and you spout the first you spout the first thing that comes to mind. You just have this epiphany first thing in the morning. You film that, and that goes viral. I don't know. I'm just getting this energy of people just don't care what you look like, whether you're an anchor on TV, whether you're a commentary channel, whether you're whether you make money off, I don't know what this is. I can't imagine somebody selling something on Etsy that people don't care the way it looks, but like the way it communicates. Oh, I know. You might be one of those people who sells downloadables on Etsy. So some people on Etsy, they sell digital downloads, and they're kind of like these cheat sheets. And I see people not giving a crap what they look like, if it's aesthetically pleasing, if the design is trendy. They don't care. They just care about the information that you share in that thing. This is very practical advice, because with the earth sign reading, it was very kind of philosophical and talk about manifestation, but this is very practical advice. People really don't care. People don't care. In fact, that is your quirk. Especially with what's that thing coming back trendy? Indie sleaze. Indie sleaze is coming back into trend, and I'm not saying that you should follow trends, but I'm just saying that it's becoming more and more acceptable with the, indie sleaze is back, under consumption core is back. I think people are starting to romanticize the look of things looking used and loved, and not everything has to be new, not everything has to look new, and kind of people are waking up. I think there was recently a transit. I can't remember what transit that was, but something moved from Capricorn to Aquarius, and I think it's Pluto. Is it Pluto? I can't remember, but there's this outer planet that just moved from Capricorn to Aquarius, and I feel like that shift in energy has led people to become less trusting of people who overly rely on beautiful aesthetics, and people are going to pay more attention to what you actually have to say. So you can have just one tarot deck, and that can be a really ratty, used up, ugly tarot deck, and you could channel the best messages in the world compared to, let's say, me. I have pretty decks, I have lots of decks, and I try to make my photos aesthetically pleasing, but you may read better tarot than I do. You could feel like you're less attractive than a lot of other people in your niche, but people like your energy. People like the jokes you crack. People like your mindset, people like your mentality, people like your viewpoints, people like that you're different. And people can't and you're so different that comparing you with others is apples to oranges, even if you're in a very kind of narrow niche. So I think just being yourself, because okay, obviously we should always be ourselves, but I think the reason why this is coming through for air signs is because I feel like some of you have felt a lot of pressure to conform to a certain aesthetic. I feel like you're working on something and you're not seeing enough results, and I feel like you feel like you're being shut out in the cold is what I'm getting from the snowflake and the heart. But at the same time, that snowflake is telling me that you're actually special. You have something that other people don't have. You're just clammed up in that little shell, but you're actually a star. How many stars do you have? A shooting star, and then you have another star, and you have stabilities, and you have the four. I think you got 2 4s there. So those 2 4s, you got 3 4s. You got 3 4s, and then you got a couple of other 3s and 2. So I feel like you will attract a lot of people who are more attracted to your philosophy and your communication style than your aesthetics. So I wouldn't worry too much about, because I feel like some of you's businesses or platforms aren't taking off and you think the reason why your platforms aren't taking off is because your aesthetics aren't that great, and you feel like you're competing with people who have nicer filming spaces or whatever, and you're insecure about that. But that's just peacocking. That's just peacocking, because look at that confidence card. That is peacock. That is a peacock. Other people are peacocking, but you have substance. You actually have meaningful, deep things to say, and you need to stop being afraid of expressing them. Because right now I'm getting the black lightning charm as well as a white cat charm, and that white cat is the a-hole cat, but it's in the reverse. So what that's telling me is that as long as you stay within your lane and talk about things that you actually know of, and you actually use your own experiences, your own life experiences as examples in your products, I don't know why you would use. But okay, as long as you focus on something that you're actually good at and you're experienced at, people will love that. People won't care, and you will be guaranteed some form of stability as soon as you find your niche. But to find that niche, you can't be just following everybody, because it's oversaturated. There are enough people with acrylic, and seriously, no shade to people who keep their makeup in acrylic boxes, but everybody has them. So if you can't afford that and you have to use, I don't know, a cabinet that you inherited from your grandma that's wooden, and it doesn't look like your typical beauty guru makeup box, whatever, people are gonna think that's a quirk. People are gonna think, oh wow, that's so unique, that's so cool. So I would just stick with that, especially with the heart in the jar there. Especially with the heart and the jar, and don't waste time. I'm also getting don't waste time. Don't waste time trying to follow trends, because you already have whatever you need. And with the rabbit and the heart there, I feel like you will gain a following. You will gain customers. You will get customers. You will get foot traffic in your store, even if your store isn't as aesthetically pleasing as the other stores on the street. I feel like even if you don't have the trendy aesthetics, I feel like there's a certain charm to that, especially with the rise of the underconsumption core trend. I think people will begin to show some appreciation to that. What is that? Is that a strawberry? Wait. Oh my god, that is a strawberry. So that is a strawberry charm, and it's right next to the jar charm. So I feel like, especially with next to the jar charm, I'm getting that the heart in the jar is telling me that people are seeing through others. people are seeing through you and seeing through others. They don't care about outer appearances anymore. They want to see the heart inside that jar, and the jar is clear. And also with the strawberry, I'm getting jam, so I'm getting kind of you milking whatever you already have. I see you turning lemons into lemonade is also what I'm getting from the strawberry and the jar. So use your personal experiences. If you're a tarot reader, yeah, because here's the thing. I sometimes get really insecure about my channel because I feel like, oh, are people going to get annoyed if I keep inserting my own personal experiences in my tarot readings? But then I think, well, at least I'm talking about something I know. And I feel like people will have an appreciation for you talking about things you know. I'm not saying that you shouldn't venture out and learn new things, but you sharing your personal experiences, you speaking from a place of, if not authority, from experiences, is something that people are going to appreciate. People like that. For example, I would never do a reading about pregnancy because I feel like that is something that I'm not qualified to talk about. But I can talk about other things that I have had bad experiences, and I like to share those things because I don't want people to learn the way I learned, which was the hard way. I want people to learn from my experiences so that less people have to experience what I experienced. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's that. So that's what I get from the strawberry. I think that will help you with your business for some reason. Maybe you created a product that was born out of a frustration. So let's say you wanted a specific thing and that thing didn't exist in the market. So you invented it. I see that kind of I see that is a plant that a seed that you'll plant during the 888 portal. Actually, I see that happening all throughout August. So if you've had ideas, I think August would be a good time. I think the plant that you could see that you could plant, the seed that you could plant this August is compiling all of your ideas into one notebook or one document. Whatever, it can be digital, but I see somebody collating all their ideas. And then when will this manifest? I see Sagittarius, Cancer, Gemini. So you could create some sort of you could have created some sort of invention that helps with the home, some invention with the home. Again, I also see I also see luck coming through in Sagittarius season. That is so weird because also in the earth signs also I also kind of sense that the earth signs would start seeing fruits of the seeds that they plant during this 888 portal in Sagittarius season. So yeah, if you want to redecorate your space and spruce things up, but always start from the stuff that you already have. So if you want to kind of upscale your existing items, if you want to repaint some cupboards, if you want to kind of hand make DIY some cushions, you'll get positive results as soon as Sagittarius season. I read banned books. If you do book reviews, again, I'm seeing this energy of a library. If you do book reviews, you would be really popular if you reviewed rented books in you would really benefit from reading rented books or books that you got from the library. So doing a library haul instead of a consumerist kind of I bought this, I bought that haul. Yeah, and I think that even if you have a small following, I think that the following that you do have are going to be very important people who will open doors. Because that's what I'm getting from the Tower and the letter is that you feel like you struggle with your business success. But let's say you're one of those people who sells printables on Etsy, right? and or PayHip or wherever people sell printables these days. So you sell a digital item and it doesn't do well on Etsy or PayHip, but then you get a book deal. Or your channel is teeny tiny and nobody's really watching it, but there's a very niche TV show in your country and you get invited to talk about a very specific niche topic. I'm getting that energy. So again, with the yes, I feel like the seeds of manifestation that you plant are a focus on deeper things, or kind of working with what you already have. And don't be insecure about your stuff. Don't feel pressured to buy. Oh, I have to live in a certain type of home. No, the home you have now has charm. You just haven't seen it yet. You just haven't seen it. If you just sat in your living space and thought about ways that you could make it homey and charming, then yeah, you'll manifest something good out of that. And when you hand make things, nobody's going to have the same thing as you. So there's that. You don't even have to look quote unquote presentable, because like I said, I got this energy of somebody just waking up in the morning, expressing their thoughts, and their thoughts are so valuable that people don't even care what you look like in the video, and it'll just go viral just for your thoughts. So that's a beautiful thing. And also, yeah, people are focusing less on things and more on innovation and ideas is what I'm getting. So hope that helped. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, water signs. The message I'm getting from you is pretty simple, but I feel like it has to do with you finding partners that you can work with, that, and I'm not saying that you are going to absolutely meet somebody on the 888 portal. If it does, please let me know in the comments, because that would be amazing. But I feel like you're coming into your own, much like the air signs. You're coming into your own, but also you are, okay, I see you being very self-focused, but at the same time, you're attracting partnerships. Now, if you're a person, this might be any type of partnership, right? This might be a friendship, this might be a business partner, this might be an investor, or you could find a new way to invest. That recently happened to me. I learned a new way to invest that I didn't even know existed. That involved other people, and you're blooming and coming into your own, and you're inviting people in. Your energy is inviting people in. Again, I don't know if I already said this, but sorry if you're single by choice. This could be romantic. I don't know. But this is more of a business kind of abundance, personal finance reading. So I don't know why that is coming through. But the more you focus on yourself, and I feel like the focus on yourself isn't something that you planted seeds for during the 8-8. For some reason, I'm getting this completely different energy with the water signs. So with the other signs, with the fire signs, with the earth signs, and with the air signs, I feel like they've just planted seeds. For some reason, I feel for the water signs, you're actually manifesting, and you're kind of seeing, you're actually reaping the rewards of something that you planted earlier on this 888 portal. And I feel like you are kind of starting to emit an energy of attracting people of your own vibration. I don't know if you have earth sign placements, but if you listen to the earth sign placement, which I actually don't recommend listening to the earth sign reading because it's so long, but the earth sign placement talks about kind of surrounding yourself with like-minded people of the same vibration. And I feel like maybe if you connect with an earth sign, I feel like that would be positive for you, that you could kind of exchange, you would have a very positive energy exchange. And with you blooming, because we did get the bloom card, and the bloom card, let me zoom in. So the bloom card says recognition, acknowledgement, and being seen. So something you are starting to manifest. You are reaping the rewards you're reaping for something that you planted seeds for, is that you are starting to gain recognition. This might not be, because I'm also getting the energy of the kind of recognition that I was getting from the air signs. With the air signs, the recognition that I got was not recognition from kind of common people, but from kind of higher up people. Does that make sense? So in the air sign, I previously used the example of, let's say you run a teeny tiny YouTube channel about a very niche topic. Now, you don't gain that many followers, but somebody high up, let's say somebody who produces a TV show about that very niche subject, became aware of you, and sometime in the future you might be on that TV show discussing that very niche subject. But your own YouTube channel doesn't do very well. So you have fans in very high places, but people you consider your peers don't even look at you. That is such weird energy. Because that's what I'm getting from the translucent bear that's in the reverse. And the translucent bear in the reverse is also kind of, oh, I see what that is. So right now, your fans are only people in high places, but people that you would consider your peers are ignore you. So you're not actually popular to your peers, and that is actually a form of protection, because the translucent bear is actually sitting on top of a peace charm. And I feel like if you were to become too visible too fast, you would ruffle a few feathers in your industry, and that might upset people. But because you're kind of seen but not seen, and only a limited people actually acknowledge you or see you in a certain way, you're protected from a lot of conflict from people who feel like they're taking an L from your existence. Actually, we also have two peace signs, so you're really kind of you're going to be protected. And with the number one, I feel like you gaining kind of a very prominent spot in your niche. And we also got the 8, which is obviously we're talking about the 888 portal, and seeing butterflies and also a mermaid. So with a mermaid, I see you go switching between two worlds. So you could have a day job, you could do something on the side, and your side hustle might take off. That is something that might be resonating. And I'm also seeing multiple sources of income with the life ring in the upright, because the life ring and the 8 and the 2 is also giving me the energy of partnership. So I feel like having multiple sources of income will be something that you might want to start planting seeds for. So if you want to start a passive income business, this would be a good time to do that. I'm not giving financial advice, by the way, but anyway, so group investments might be something. Okay, so Capricorn, Sagittarius, and the Sun. So like I said, you're actually already on the 8-8 portal, you're already manifesting something that you planted during Taurus or Aries season, I think. And it had something to do with beauty and something secretive. Oh, so you were moving in silence since Taurus and Aries season, and you're starting to reap benefits now. But if you were to plant seeds now, you could reap benefits in Capricorn, Sagittarius season. Oh my God. So in 3 out of 4 of these 8-8 readings, so in the for the Taurus, not the Taurus, the earth signs, the air signs, and the water signs, all of you are going to start seeing manifestation results as soon as Sagittarius season. Again, I see kind of 2 and 11 and 3. So you might be connecting with a Virgo with Leo tendencies. Oh, so that's interesting. A Virgo with Leo tendencies. You might start off as friends and then you partner, and then I see a lot of fun communication. I see kind of a masculine energy looking at you from afar with the Lenormand, and they're seeing something long term with you. So I don't know. I feel like this is kind of a business partnership that will be very long lasting. And I see it blooming and blossoming, and this person's intentions are pure. But right now you're just focusing on yourself, which is a good thing. Which is a good thing. Yeah, so that's it, I think. Also I'm getting these I recently saw another tarot reading by Addie. I think her name is pronounced Addie. And if you resonate with this partnership energy, I would recommend watching her recent video about improving your finances. I forgot the title, but I'll link it down in the description box, and it's Pal 1. Okay, so pick Pal 1. Yeah, so there's that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was very short. And also with the orange heart with the orange heart and the orange star, I'm getting a lot of creative energy. There's a lot of orange in this reading for some reason. And so, yeah, there might be a connection to the Netherlands for some reason. The Netherlands, orange. Yeah, so there's that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped. And I hope this one wasn't as long as the other ones because, oh my God, who can stand listening to me this long? Okay, bye. Thank you. I hope you have. Oh, and another thing, orange is kind of a lion-y color. Right? So for some reason, even though you're a water sign, you're going to be really in your element during this portal. I feel like for some people, it's very depleting. Me personally, I find it very depleting because it's doing this thing to my crown chakra. But for you, I think it's improving. It's increasing your creativity, your second chakra, your vitality, something about that. Yeah, I feel like focusing on your second chakra would really benefit you now. So I hope that helped. Bye.